All right, it is 7:30, and it is officially episode three. Episode three of C.A.P.E.rsona
6:30
Chats.
Eastern time for the East Coast people.
7:30 for the Korean folks. So my day is just starting. Yours is winding down. I'm starting off with my coffee, and I know you was drinking on something, but we're gonna leave it at that.
Some ice water, some country road ice water.
Right. So, you got me, Octavia, and with me again is Julian Kirkland. So I'm excited about this. I can't even tell you how excited I am about this. And we're a little jazzy today, right? So I don't know if you can see, but I got a little situation happening. And Tiara has a situation happening. We're wearing purple on purpose. And before we get started, I actually do want to go ahead and, take my cape off. Because even though it is staggered, I'm looking for my sleeves. Like, where's my other sleeve? Where's the other sleeve? But you got to take it off. We take our capes off doing the C.A.P.E.rsona Chats.
I came with mine.
But the reason, right? You came with yours off. But the reason why we are both wearing shades of purple today is because this entire episode is kept into fruition because of our grandmother, Emma. And Emma was born in the month of June 21st. And this is her birthday month, right? Mm-hmm. She is in fact gone. She passed away in January of 2019 from Alzheimer's. And so it is a bittersweet situation because, I love the color purple, right? From the Alice Walker book to the Oprah Winfrey movie to everything purple. Agnes Scott's my alma mater, undergraduate college, the color is purple. So everything that I love is associated with purple. But then you have Alzheimer's, right? Which took away somebody that I love. And it's also represented by the color purple. So it's bittersweet. But because of the life that she lived, because of who she was, that doesn't change the color purple for me. I can still say, as bad as Alzheimer's is, it still didn't take away, all that she did before she had that disease. So, what color purple have you got? I'm wearing dark.
Like a lilac, purple. I think. Like a lilac
going on.
Little lilac purple. And just speaking on that note, just the legacy. You realize when things come full circle, I didn't realize the impact that grandma had on the community and just on everybody in Scriven County until I heard so many wonderful people talk about her funeral. And I was like, wow, she did this and she went through that. She was a trailblazer, truly.
Yeah. And it's weird because we know her for who she is, right? But we never saw her in her prime. Just think about everything we know about her and the folks that actually had a chance to see her in her prime. So it's totally different. It's totally different. It's very overwhelming. So this episode is special. And to kick it all off, to set the stage, I got a poem. It's on the blog over at Pamper Purpose Service, and it's called The Gift of You. And I'm going to do my very, very best to recite it right now. And I'm going to do it as if Emmy is in the audience. So if I'm a little extra special, it's because of her, right?
Right.
So you think I can do it, sis?
I know you can do it. You got this.
All right. I'm a little bit nervous.
Why? It's just you and I having a conversation. You got this.
I know. Whew. All right. This poem is called The Gift of You. Picture yourself in that moment when all that you are is everything they see. And the message of enoughness you came to deliver is the very gift everyone around you receives. Plant yourself in that space where the easiest thing there is to be is yourself. and the aura around you screams confidence. The sound of power heard in your every step. Push yourself into your spotlight and prove to everyone that you're made of magic, that your only goal on any given day is to make the impossible happen. Deliver yourself to your purpose. Embrace all the reasons why you're here. Show anyone that questions your worth or strength that you're too busy winning to be distracted by fear. Allow yourself space to breathe. It's hard work being as fierce as you are. Then return to your stage like you never skipped a beat to share the gift of you with those near and far. That was for Emmy. That's for Emmy.
Yes, yes. Oh, I can just break that poem apart. Push yourself. Oh my God. That's good. I like that one.
Yeah. And so
one of my new favorites. Everything is a favorite for me, but this one, yeah, I like that. I needed to hear that this month, you know. This is a really good one.
So I think for like a couple of weeks, I've started my day off, you know, with that poem. It's like been my personal pep talk for the morning to get my mind right, right? And so it syncs so well with the subject of influence and how much influence we have and how much influence we actually deliver. And so I actually looked up the definition of influence because I wanted to make sure, you know, what I was thinking was what, you know, the dictionary.com said. And it defines influence as the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or something or the effect itself. So it's just basically saying you have the ability to change somebody, right? Just something about you can change somebody. So that's what the definition says. What do you, when you think of energy, when you think of influence, what do you think of?
I think of, like, I do think of energy, actually. You know, you read my mind. Like, I think of positive energy because I'm not about negativity, and I'm careful about protecting my energy. Hashtag C.A.P.E. That's my C.A.P.E. for the month. But yeah, somebody who's influenced me, I think is someone who wants what's best for me, or someone who's will pave the path for me so I can walk in their shoes and excel them. So someone who want greatness, like you said, you know, make your path in greatness. And so that's what, you know, influenced me. People, you know, you got to surround yourself with people who wants what's best for you. And, you know, a lot of people don't have that. And I'm like, I surround myself with people who are genuinely happy for me and my successes. And it was like, and call me out when I'm not doing right. Like, I know you have the potential to do better. Or why are you doing this? You know better. Like, you know, growing up, I know your grandmother, you know, she wouldn't approve of this. And you know better. I know your family. You know better. You know, why are you acting out? I know your family, you know, things like that. So, yeah.
I think it's kind of like, when I think of influence, it is a reputation, right? Because depending on the influence that's already been set for you in your legacy, you do have that standard that's already set. But when I think about influence, I think about how we show up, right? When you show up in a space, what does your representative say, right? When you get into that room, does your representative say, a boss just arrived, pay attention, right? Does your energy say, or does your representative say, oh, don't worry about her. She's not a player. You know, just go ahead and continue to do what you're doing. She's not a factor. What does your energy, what does your representative say when you show up in a space? That to me is your immediate or your perceived influence. What do you think about that?
I like that. And, you know, from just reading some, like your article that you wrote and just like influence and things like that, I think that is very good. You know, what do people perceive you and what they think of you? And I like recently started a new job within the last year, and everybody, you know, confidence, you know, I know what I'm doing, even if it's something I haven't done before, but I take on the challenge. You know, I accept accountability. Like, I'm a leader, even though I'm just starting, you know, because I tell my boss, like I'm a boss. Like I'm making boss moves. I
Yes.
may be here, but I'm getting there. I'm gonna be past
Yes.
you one day. You know, how can I get
Yes.
to where you are above? And he's
Yes.
praising me. He's like, I like the way you play the game. You know, it's like you take
Yeah.
charge, but you know, like when you know know how to play this. Like, yes, this is government politics. Like I know how to play the game, but I know what I want,
Yeah.
and I know that
Yes.
the sky is not the limit. I can be and do whatever I
Right.
want to do because of the women and the grandmothers that I had in my life to, you know, who paved the way for me as a stepping stone.
Yes. Right. Listen, I think you raised a good point, though. You think about the influence that you think you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
The influence that you actually have, and the
Mm-hmm.
influence that you deliver. And I'll show you the example, right? So the
Mm-hmm.
influence that I think I have, and, you know, I'm just going to be honest. On any given day, I don't think that I'm that influential, right? I'm just me. I'm Octavia. I'm from, you know, Village Road. I like just being country, staying home to myself and just, you know, just reading. That's who I am. And that doesn't necessarily translate to influence. But the actual influence that I have is 10 times more than what I actually think I have. And so the influence that I actually deliver, I use the metric of what I actually have versus what I have. So for instance, if I go off, you know, just thinking of myself as, you know, the country girl who just, you know, just wants to do her part, then go home, I'm really not going to deliver that much. I'm really not going to be present in a room. But if I know for a fact that what I know, the skills that I have, the thoughts that I have, bring something to the table, I'm going to move differently, right? So when I come into a room, I don't come into the room as KB, or as y'all used to call me back in the day, crybaby, right? I don't
That
show
wasn't
up
me.
as her. I show up as this. Listen, don't worry about all that. I
Lieutenant
show
Colonel.
up as just Lieutenant Colonel, whatever you want to call it. I show up as that. And the fact that I am, in fact, most times the only person in the room that looks like me, you know, it can be intimidated, right? Every single time I walk into a room and there's nobody else that looks like me,
Mm-hmm.
I have to fight my way over that.
Mm-hmm.
I have to fight my way over the do I really matter? Do I belong here? And it happens in a split second, because you can either talk yourself into your influence or you can talk yourself out of it. And every single day I have to talk myself into my influence. And if I don't, there are so many different, you know, people that won't benefit from me. They won't benefit from my thoughts and my ideas. And you can almost think of that's a cocky thing to say, or that's, you know, just she got a big head. But that's real life, right? The real life is the things that you think, the things that you know is important to somebody, and you have to own that, and you have to deliver that, and you have to do it on purpose. So
now, just not to cut you off, but I feel like one thing that you like kind of missed out, the power that you have with your pen. You know, the influence you've had with your pen. You know, the influence you've had with your organizations. You know, the things like that. You know, though these are you're creating legacies and, you know, showing people that, you know, through these actions that, hey, I can write a book, or hey, you know, someone's creating opportunities so that I can be a better person, or, you know, creating these things like that. You know, those are good things as well. And representation is very good. You know, like most people, and I sent your article out to all my friends all over the world, just so you know. And a lot of, like Africa, like different places, Asia, Europe, and a lot of them are government foreign service officers. And they said, yes, you know, it's very hard, you know, being the only person, you know, only woman of color in the room, and how they have to fight so hard, and the misrepresentation and things like that. It was like, should I stay in or should I not? You know, it's so tough, but, you know, if I make it easier for, you know, if I can endure it, it'll be easier for the person that follows. And so, and I think that's, you know, part of your influence, you know, like you're saying, talking yourself into, because, you know, it's like you got to be on it because you never know who's watching you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the thing. You always
so
have to
true.
be on there. Bring your A game. Even on your worst day, you know, not having, you still need to put on a face and boss up, you know, because you never know who's watching you.
Yeah. And it's to the point where you do yourself a disservice when you don't reach your influence, right? Because even though, to me, I think of, you know, writing a book or being a lieutenant colonel, it's natural to me, right? So I haven't necessarily stepped outside of my comfort zone. So those are the natural things for me. But the unnatural thing is to share it. Right? Sharing is where it's like, okay, now I'm opening myself up. Somebody might give me some criticism that, oh, she can't really write. Why is she doing those poems? What she need to just do something else. You open yourself up to people's negative vibes and to people's, whether it's good criticism or bad criticism, you open yourself up. And that is a risk that you take. It's a risk that I take every single day by just being willing to exert myself into places that people think I don't belong in, right?
Well, you know, as our grandmother said, they talked about Jesus, they're going to talk about you. So, but I get that criticism and opening yourself out, you know, being vulnerable to other people, you know, like you think you're on cloud nine and then, you know, someone's negativity energy, but then it's like, it doesn't matter. If you reach one person, you know, if you made a difference with one, that's all that matters. You know, it's the little things, like we're just talking about small steps, like being on time, like, you know, baby steps. Those baby steps, you know, you do a mile, then, you know, 5 miles, a 5K, you know, it's just one step at a time, you know, and that's all you can do. And I feel like if you don't put so much pressure on yourself, it's like, if I can just make one difference a day in the world, you know. Yeah. I went shopping. I asked the guy, I was like, hey, how are you doing today? He was like, you know what? You're the first person to ask me how I'm actually doing today. Nobody has asked me. He's like, and that made a difference. And I was like, wow, nobody has asked you how you're doing today? Right. It was a small difference. It made him so much happier. He was like, I'm doing pretty good, you know, kind of. I was like, wow, you know, I had a conversation, you know, people don't ask people how they're doing. It's just a small thing. Small compliments, you know, makes a difference.
And it just shows that there's levels to the influence, right? There's levels to your presence. And you might think just that hello was not that important, but to that person, it was everything, right? It acknowledged them. It gave them a sense of opportunity to engage with somebody else that maybe they don't have. And so you have to know that it doesn't have to always be, you know, this huge event or this huge speech or this huge paper or whatever it is that you do. Whatever way that you can show up, right? Whatever way that you can serve. Whatever way that you can interact with somebody in a positive way, do it. And it's not, you know, in the Army, you know, you have like junior enlisted, you have, you know, officers, you have warrant, it's a whole range of ranks. And the thing I tell myself, I'm the same way with everybody, right? My PFC, my colonel, my general, you don't get the same Virgin Octavia that everybody else get. And you have to be willing to be that way with everybody, not just share yourself with a certain group. Share yourself with everybody that crosses your path. And I think that's where we can have the most influence. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how much influence do you think you have?
I'll give myself, you know, an 8.
Yeah.
I mean, an 8. And when I'm thinking of different influences, I'm thinking, okay, how many people do I like? I realize that I have a wealth of knowledge about certain things that people don't know. I work in higher education. I know how to, you know, get internships or like help people with things like that. A lot of people don't know how to do that. A lot of people, you know, so I have a great influence. Like people contact me, like, or I send them opportunities. Like one opportunity that came across my desk, I wanted to do it, but it wasn't my time and it wasn't for me at the time. I passed it on to my friend. They got it, and it projected. He was like, if it wasn't for you to push me and to give me this information, it's like I wouldn't be where I am today. And I was like, wow, you know, just that small thing, like, hey, I think you should, you know, I think you'd be good for this. I think you'd be great for that. And I feel like some people don't see their potential that they have. And you have, sometimes they need that push. Is like, we are from royalty, you know, we are from kings and queens. And, you know, you have greatness in you. Everybody has greatness. You just have to figure out what it is. And so that's why I give myself the 8, you know, I'm everybody's #1 supporter. You want something? I got your back. I'm gonna, you know me. Hey, don't turn like this. Like when you're training and stuff, you know, for your competitions. I got your back because I want you to be great. You're representing me, part of me. But you know, hey, you inspire people in every aspect you do. Help, you know, things like that. Take it one day at a time. I've taken many one days and started over, but hey, baby steps. So yeah, I think 8. What about you?
You know what? I think I'm going to do it in stages of life, right?
Oh, really? So right now, presently.
Presently, right now, I think I'm going to give myself a whole 10.
Hey.
I'm going to give myself a whole 10. But let's say 2 years ago, you know, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I'm towards them single digits, low single digits, right? Maybe a 3, probably a 2. Yes, I did not see myself as having any type of influence. And I think it started with not thinking I had influence over myself, much less anybody else. And so you grow into your influence, I think.
Even a few years. I think that's just amazing because I've always you're my older cousin. Like I look up to my older cousins and I was like, okay, these are the things that I want to do in life. You know, these are like, okay, you know, I thought about military, but you know, like we had this discussion, but it's like, you know, just the influence you had a few years ago. Landon was like, I want to be like my auntie mama. I forgot the whole long name she has. It's like, I want to be like Auntie Tavy, my second mama, my godmama, blah, blah, blah. Her favorite color is purple, like you and grandma. I want to be in the military. I want to be a boss like Auntie Tavy. She's already taking CrossFit to be a boss like her Auntie Tavy. She's doing what it takes to be a boss and this is for a few years ago, and she's 10. She's still, I want to be like my Auntie Tavy, you know. And you know, there's characteristics of you that I admire and I love. And I was like, you know, there's certain, like, from different people's, like, I love this about this. Like, that's on my vision board. I take this from this person. I take this. I'm like, oh, you such and such age. Oh, I want to be like this. Are you such and such? You got this quality. You're a boss. Everybody looks up to you and respect you when you walk in a room. I want that. You know, so I take bits and pieces of people, different qualities. Like, how did they do this? You know, how did they go about getting to where they are? So,
I think such a good example of how you can think your influence is maybe at a 2 or 3, but your actual influence can be at like that 7 and 8 and above. And it depends. You got to make a choice of which one you deliver. Do you act as if you are still, you know, a 2 or 3, or do you come in like you're a whole 10?
You may feel like a 2, but you act like a 10. You know
why? And it's like, you gotta be. And trust me, this is something that I struggle with every single day, because as I do get ready to go into certain positions, and as I do get ready, you know, which I'm very, very thankful for, to have the opportunity to get published and things of that nature, it can be overwhelming because I never want to change who I am, right? I never want to be influenced by the influence, right? You know, I want to remain true to me. And that's how I get to be able to do the things that I do without pressure. There is no pressure for me to show up and be me. There is no pressure for me to talk to people that don't look like me. That's just who I am, right? So, and I think we have to just embrace the fact that it's okay to be your authentic self and still have a 10-level influence, right?
Oh, wow. That just brings me a point of conversation. It's like, you know, being unapologetically yourself And then also, you know, like, you're worthy to be yourself. And it was just, I was telling like my best friend, I was like, you know, for a long, I did not know who I was. I would cater and change and be a chameleon to every person. Like, oh, this person perceives me this way, so I should be this way, and this and that. And then I was like, you know what? I'm tired of that. Let me go soul searching. Let me figure out who I am. And you know, now it's like, okay, I'm this, I'm that. I don't have to put up with this. Oh, I don't like that, and this. And it's like, this is me, you know, and it's okay to be me, and I shouldn't have to apologize for that. And it's just like walking and learning, you know, because we as women, we think like, oh, we have to be a certain way because society wants us to be this way, or, you know, our family or this and that. But we have to forge our own path and make our own path sometimes, and just walk how we want to be. I grew up, oh my gosh, I was such an outcast. I was so weird, like really weird, like picked on and everything. But it's okay. I walked to my own beat of the drum. And now I look back, and some of those people that picked on me, I'm like,
preach it.
Yes, but I'm like, hey, it's sometimes to be different, or speak different, or be extra skinny, or XYZ. But you know what? That's my true authentic self. And I love myself, and I accepted that for myself. And now I'm unapologetically myself.
Absolutely.
And, you know, and I have to tell people that you shouldn't care what people think about you. Long as you know who you are, people will respect that. It's like, oh, they may not like you, but they respect you for being yourself. I can constantly say, this person has been consistently this way since I've known them. And that's them. They're not fake. They're just direct, or they're not, you know, they're just going to tell you like it is. They don't have time to be, you know, beating around the bush, you know, and that, or saying things, coddling people. No, sometimes people need to hear the harsh truth. And, you know, we as society can't take that. Or she's being this way, he's being that way. You know, sometimes we have to, you know, buck up and take criticism to be a better person. And that can be a critical influence, you know, to be the right way. Because if you're not on the right path and somebody give you some hard truths about yourself, you may be offended because it's actually the truth and you don't want to accept it. But this person sees the greatness in you.
Right. It takes a lot of energy to give feedback to somebody, right? Especially when it's negative, because you know that they're not probably going to be willing to receive it. But that, you know how much you got to care about somebody to put yourself out to receive their negative response, because you care enough to tell them, sis, your crown is a little crooked. Sis, we might need to, you know, tighten this up a little bit. So that takes a lot of time and energy to be even willing to do that. So continue.
Surround yourself with great people. My friends, I'm your real friend. I'm going to tell you the truth. And I'm not telling you this to hurt your feelings, but I'm telling you to better yourself. Get it right. Get it together. This ain't you. I don't know what you're doing. Get it together. And you have to have those friends.
You got to have a couple of them, to be honest with you, to cover your whole 360. Because everybody can't see everything. So you need somebody for every last one of your blind spots, right?
Right.
And you made me think about, you know how I feel about Miss Maya Angelou. You know how I feel about her. You know, and she got that, the poem, phenomenal woman. And she says, you know, pretty women wonder where my secret lies, right? And it's like somebody's constantly wondering, how dare she, right? How dare she? How dare she show up and be that confident? How dare she show up and be that authentic, that articulate? How dare she show up and actually speak in this room where nobody looks like her? You know, the audacity. So own that.
Right, for sure. And let's, you know, I tell people, like, especially we as people of color and we as women, we have to uplift one another. We can't have this crab mentality. You know, oh, the only reason why you're saying something about this person, the way she looks or acts, is because you're insecure about that same thing, or you're jealous. You need to, like, you go, sis, you got this. You know, I admire that about her. You know, this. You know, she shows up and she showed out and she got it right. It's just like that. This article I was reading about how this man would not acknowledge this woman who worked for a PhD and call her doctor. He would just call her by her first name. And I'm like, wow, everybody else did it but him. So I'm like, PhD is hard. I'm like, people work hard for their titles. People work hard for them. You should show them respect.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's influence.
That's more, always a more reflection of that person, right?
Oh, yeah,
than the recipient, always. And I think that's why, even in those moments where there might be a negative encounter, because every day is definitely not, you know, perfect, is not always positive. I allow myself to let things go, right?
Oh, that is the biggest thing people need to learn. Let things go. It would kill you. Let it go.
Yes.
You can still remember, but not too much, but let it go.
Yeah. It's like, imagine how much your energy would change if you just let all those negative encounters sit with you every day. And every day you showed up with that negative stuff still in your spirit, still in your mind, still in your heart. Like,
sage that house, sage your phone, sage your technology.
You don't have that much control over my energy, right? My energy belongs to me, right? And you might have a very, very, very small, minute impact on it, but you can't change my energy as a whole. Nobody has that ability, ever. So, and if
sometimes you have to step away from people who has that negative energy too. You just can't be around it. And it's like, I understand you may go through something or this and that, but hey, I have to protect my energy. And I think that goes back to like last episode about, you know, it's we can't put the weight of the world on ourselves, because if we're not good, how can we be good for other people? And, you know, be there to support people, influence people. It's a lot that we take on. And, you know, we have to realize, you know, today, it's just not a day. Today, I'm going to turn off my phone. Today is a me day. Let me get reset. Today, let me stage all this negative energy. Today, let me meditate. Today, let me pray. Let me go work out. Let me, you know, clear my mind. Let me disconnect, because sometimes you need that.
And it is not even, I'm glad you used the word need, right? Because the things that we do when we take that cape off and we reset, that gives us that energy to go back and be the boss the next day. Because you can't be boss mode 24/7. It will drain you.
That's why I got my cape off right now.
Your whole energy thing. No, right. Like,
I said, as soon as I'm off.
Listen, I keep looking for my sleeve. I don't know where to sleep. I'm sorry.
You know what? Next time wear a whole sleeve, 2 whole sleeves.
I will not.
You're unapologetically yourself, you know?
Yeah, but it's just so true. Like, we have to own our bossness, right? But just as, you know, the last part of that poem said, allow yourself space to breathe, right? Give yourself permission to just, as you said, detach, right? Reset. So that when you do come back and you do get on that stage and you're ready to give the very best version of you, you're doing it from a place of fullness and not from a place of, I'm giving you everything, but I ain't really taking care of myself. And eventually that balance is gonna show up in a very not a positive way. And we don't want that to happen.
But it also makes me think about that part of the poem where you say you push yourself. You know, we as people, you know, when I was looking for a job, they said 80% of women don't apply to jobs, even though, like, because they think they don't meet all the qualifications. But men apply for any and everything. And I was like, we as women and people, we need to be risk takers. Apply for any and everything.
Yes.
Because you never know. Sometimes you might have some of the skill sets that they need. But I'm like, and I just take that and I just apply that to my life. You know, things I want to do. Why am I holding myself back? You know, I still want us to do a triathlon, even though my swimming abilities, you know, I can't swim. I have to do a sprint, like 800 meters. So I'm like, I want to do that. So I realized, okay, well, my running is not where it used to be. So let me just start meeting my 10,000 steps a day. Let me join like run groups and things like that. Let me get a bike, first of all, because I don't have a bike. Let me take swim lessons. Like, I was all supporting you when you were going to do your triathlon. I was like, you know what? I want to do one too. But I'm like, you know, I don't want to hold bars, like things. I have a bucket list things I want to do. And I don't want to be held back. And so I'm like, why? What's holding, besides the pandemic? But I'm just like, once it's over, like, I want to do any and everything I want to do. Like, why
Push
not? I'm not
yourself.
limiting myself. Other people can do it. Why can't I do it?
Yes.
I want to overcome some of my fears. Do it.
Yes. And I think that's such a good point that, you know, we talk about the influence that we have on others. How much influence do we have on ourselves? And is that positive influence? Is it negative influence? Are you taking yourself out of the fight before anybody else get a chance to even do it? Right? Imagine, exactly as you said, imagine what the worst thing that can happen is that somebody tells you no, right? But even sometimes I'll apply for a board. Like there's a board that's coming up this year, Senior Service College. I'm going to apply. I ain't even eligible for it, but I just want the experience to be able to say I put my packet together, I've addressed my file, I made sure everything is good. And so, yeah, when I am in that range and that competitive zone, I'll be even more attractive. So just look at every opportunity as something that you can learn from. Girl, listen.
For sure. Because like they just opened up for a promotion and I'm like, okay, for leadership. And I told my boss, I'm applying. I'm like, let PMO know I'm applying. I don't know. I'm just let them know I'm new. I'm only a year, but I'm still applying. And they can tell me no until I get it. But I'm like, I'm getting my next level. I'm getting my next level. That made me think about your shirt. Wherever you are, insert your voice and not your fears. Love that. And so, you know, like you're saying, you can psych your mind out before you even get there. I think that's very important that we need to like take away that negative thoughts or what if and just go for it. Like you said, what's the worst that can happen? No.
So that the phrase is an acronym for win, right? Win. Wherever you are, insert your voice, not your fears, and have that winning attitude. Wherever you are, show up, right? Be present, but show up to win. Show up to be, and repeat it every day, right? Every day. You don't get to do it Monday and Tuesday and Thursday, but take off Wednesday and Friday. It's an everyday situation in some way, shape, or form. Show up to win. Right. You know, and I think we get comfortable, like you had a great day, but then you just fall off. No, you gotta, every day ain't gonna be great, but you gotta show up every day, right? And so, and I just sometimes I just think it's ironic that I say the things that I say because I didn't believe it, right? I didn't believe that I could win. I didn't believe that I had anything in me that anybody else wanted to know or that anybody else could benefit from. And it's just and I think that's why I don't allow myself to roll into the hype or to believe the hype.
You got a praying grandmother, you got a praying family who prays for you and cover you. And just, you know, the things that you want in your heart and your desires, they breaking generational curses and praying for things for them to be even better. Just like you probably pray for your son to be even better than yours. And that's what it is about. Like, we make our life so that our kids can have it easier than we had, but also understand, you know, where we come from, you know? The struggle is real. Because some of the things that we have overcome. Right. Your delay is not your denial.
Yeah. So I'm telling you right now that I am so grateful, right? So grateful that Emma Scott is mine, right? Emma Scott is in my blood. Jay Scott is in my blood. You know, that Scott, you know, after, you know, the divorce, you know, I thought about, you know, which name am I going to take? Because I've had a few, right? And so
I know we all. Okay, I'll stop being messy.
So I purposely selected my grandmother's name and my granddaddy's name, which is, you know, the name I was originally born with, Scott. And it just, every day I get a chance to literally wear that name on my chest. You know, it is just such an honor, such a blessing. And I know for a fact that the world would not get the version of Octavia that they get if it was not for them, right? And so, listen, this has been great. I ain't even cry. I'm so proud of myself.
I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Like, you know, we go back, but I'm so proud of you. Everything you've done. Like, even though we have a small but kind of medium age gap, I've still always looked up for you. You know, looked up to you and you've had an influence in my life And you know, over the times, you know, like things is like, okay, this is how she's moving, you know, okay, I need to move like this. Or, you know, this is some of the things that she's doing, you know, okay, this is what I want to do. Like, okay, I want to be a boss. I want to show up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to do this.
And you know what? I think a lot of things that I didn't realize is that you don't show up to be right. You just show up to give somebody an option, right? And nothing about me says that this is the way it should be done or you got to do it this way. But for the other young African American, you know, officers in the Army, at least they can say, we saw a version, an option of something. Maybe that's not the option I want, but it's better than having never seen anything. Right. And I grew up in an Army where I didn't have the options because I didn't see it, didn't know it was out there. And so you have to purposely be, you know, no, you're not, you know, creating clones or anything, but you're giving somebody exposure to something that maybe they didn't know. And maybe they can say, you know what, no, that's not the way I want to rock, but at least I can take some of that, as you said, add my own thing
and take what applies to you. Right. Take what
yeah.
you need and apply from you. Like, okay, this will benefit me. This, okay, well, this definitely ain't this, you know, okay, but I'm gonna take what I can and I'm gonna hone it in and I'm gonna plant the seed, water it, and make it my own.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then you show up. You win, and then you repeat that.
Right.
Run it back all day. Listen, this has been phenomenal. And right now, all right, I do have an announcement. The 21st of June is Grandma's birthday, heavenly birthday. And, you know, so I am going to have a Pamper Purpose Service giveaway. And I'm going to announce the rules on Friday. I'm going to announce all of the gifts that are going to be associated with it. And you'll have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and all day Monday to fulfill all the entry requirements. And then I will announce the winner on Wednesday, the 23rd, because I got some traveling to do when I put my cape back on here in a few minutes. So very, very excited about it. Very excited about, you know, this episode and just not just encouraging, but requiring that we show up, right? Requiring the fact that we have to recognize that our influence is way bigger than what we think it is. And it's not until that person that you never thought, you know, was even looking at you or even knew you existed, it's not until they affirm that they needed you to show up that you have the appreciation for what it is that you did. But even if nobody ever, you know, gives you that affirmation, you still owe it to yourself to show up and be present and to influence from wall to wall.
Right.
Wall to wall. Don't let nobody put you in that corner. Nobody puts baby in the corner, right?
Right.
You know that.
But I just want to say thank you for being part of my journey and, you know, and our grandmother being part of our journey to the women that we are becoming and will be in the future. And it's like you said, you know, people are watching you. And, you know, so just be mindful of that because, you know, you think you're maybe a 2, but your influence is beyond a 10. So just keep up the good work that you're doing and influencing others.
And I see my beautiful Sarah, my baby. I'm her baby, but she's my baby. Miss Diane said, yes, because at times you are a part of other people's journey, right?
Right.
You don't even know it. You don't even know if somebody made a pit stop at you, right? But if you weren't there, they wouldn't have been able to make that pit stop and continue on to their journey.
Yeah, right? Just think about the tree analogy.
Yes.
Branches, leaves, and things like that.
Yes, you gotta own that part and you gotta own it. And the blessing is when you do get that affirmation, but sometimes you don't. In the absence of that, continue to show up, continue to be present. And listen, I'm full, as we say in the South. I'm real emotionally, I'm full right now. And before my lashes come off, we gonna go. Thank you so much for always showing up, Boom.
Always reliable. I'm always there. I'm gonna be on time more often.
You got your certification for your home health care nurse? Like, we'll talk about that.
I do, always.
I I see you, Drina. Thank you, love. All right, y'all.
I don't know how to get off this.
So much. Love y'all. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
I don't know.
You don't know either. Well, my